Hey there, I'm Finn Deerhart, and it's been a while since I've done this. It's been a real long while. For a while, I almost couldn't even imagine doing a newsletter because it just felt like I really needed to be internal and exploring my inner life, and I had a lot of just stuff come up that I've been working on and experiencing. So I am reaching out to make contact and want to make contact again. And I think there's one thing that that's been on my mind is this. I read about a study that was conducted in 2011 in which researchers took two groups of men into a laboratory and they observed them, and one group of men was given the task to braid ropes, like big thick ropes. And the other group was given the task to braid women's hair. And then after they completed the task, they brought everyone together and all the men had the opportunity to either A, do a puzzle, or B, punch a bag. And of the men who braided women's hair, they overwhelmingly chose to punch the bag and really hard. And the researchers did several experiments like that, and they wrote a paper called Precarious Masculinity, in which they assert that masculinity is something that's precarious. It's just a concept, and it's socialized and conditioned, and men in this study were American. And that masculinity must be won again and again and again and again, because it's not something that really truly exists externally. It's an intrinsic feeling. It's something that we align with, and it can vary in what that actually means. And so I just found that study to be super important and riveting. I had an experience too, just kind of recently, where my boyfriend put his hand on my dick when I wasn't ready for him to touch me, and the way I was sitting, it was kind of tucked underneath my leg and kind of squished in my underwear, and I had this kind of shame response, like, oh my God, can he even feel my dick right now? And this feeling of almost being in a female body, not having this thing there that's big and ready and hard for him to grab. And it's this, performance, I think so much of our sexuality as queer men, and I say that as men because it's male identified bodies, so much about doing and performing and being a certain, something that we must reclaim and win again and again, and need to be big and do something to this person so that they feel it significantly, which really eliminates the whole realm of receptivity and taking responsibility for our own pleasure if we're the one that's being penetrated or touched. So there's just so much that's been on my mind and heart, and in that way in my own personal life, but also just as I look at the world and all the stuff going on. And actually was really, really fortunate to be on a film shoot with Hemorrhosis TV in April. Yeah, April. Probably the last time I wrote a newsletter. But and we used a model who's transmasculine, and his name is Stevie. And in this particular film, which below this video you'll see a link to the trailer, but he wore a strap-on in his sweatpants and was walking around the pool, and all these men were watching and looking at this tremendous bulge in his pants, and wasn't biodick, it was actually a strap-on. And first off, just from the production side, the models were fucking amazing and just super open to exploring this experiment and had a lot of fun. But in a real existential way, there's so much importance put on the penis, and our culture is predicated on this kind of phallocentric notion, and all the different ways that has roots in our psychology. And I know we're in a lot of clash in our culture right now as some of that's really coming to light, but I invite you to look at how that has been enculturated in yourself as well, and the different ways that shows up in your own desire. I know for me, it shows up in my own desire, my attachment to certain kinds of men, certain dicks, certain qualities and traits that I maybe denigrate in myself and revere in other people. And I just want to hold a space to look at that in me and encourage you to do the same. Totally check out this video of Stevie fucking all these guys with a strap on, and yeah, sending you all love.